Years ago, we had a colleague in seminary, and he grew up Eastern Orthodox, and he took us to his congregation to experience Easter. And because the Orthodox Easter is not the same date as our Western Easter, we had the opportunity. So what was most amazing to me was the Easter Vigil. And this was midnight. We walked into the sanctuary, and Eastern Orthodox sanctuaries are like, they have a big dome. We were all in this big dome. It was pitch dark, no light at all. And it felt like, to describe it best, maybe Jonah in the belly of the big fish, the whale, felt like that. You could feel the breathing of the people beside you, but you could not see them. And then, from the very front, the Paschal candle was lit. Paschal candle for the Christ candle, the Easter candle, the light. And then slowly by slowly, the light spread into the sanctuary. It became bright, the music started, and it felt like a new day. It felt like a new birth. It felt like, wow. What felt like a tomb became like a womb from which we rose to new life. Now, that was not all. Because at the end of the service, we took those candles, everyone took their candles and walked to the cemetery that was right by the church. And we took those candles and brought them to the graves of our loved ones, of their loved ones. That death has not the last word. That love that was crucified is not the last word, but love wins. The sun rises again, and we're invited to rise with it and be drawn to the light. That's why everywhere in Europe, the traditional way to build sanctuary, well, they're always eastward faced. So whenever people gather, before there were switch lights, electricity, where do they focus? Well, to the rising sun. New life is rising, new light is rising. Until today, when you see how are people buried in the cemeteries? Well, always, if the cemetery is well aligned, toward the east. So, east, Easter, always look for the sunrise. Where and how does sun rise in your life? Where and how does love rise in your life? Where and how does love shine on you to warm you up, to bring you to life, to make you shine and bloom? On Ash Wednesday, we used to have these prayer stations in the sanctuary. And one prayer station, one year, we had bulbs to plant in the small flower pot and to take home. Well, everything went well. We planted the bulbs, we watered them, we took them home, but not a lot came of those flowers. So what the heck had happened? We did not know that the bulbs need to be chilled, pre-chilled, before they would grow and actually develop a flower and a bloom and so on. And I think that in a symbolic way, in one way or another, we all experienced chilling reality in our lives. In one way or another, we have experienced that. Parker Palmer Booth and Henry Nouwen, some beautiful spiritual guides, were important to me. They both wrote about their experiences with clinical depression. To them, it felt like being just buried alive, like frozen in a frozen block of ice. the same time, anxiety and not being able to move, not even being able to get out of bed. And the one thing that one of them writes about is, words, whatever conversations, would not make a difference when you're so frozen, so deep dark in a depression, you're just can't get out of it on your own. So one of their friends came, tried to be in tune and just gently rub his feet. And coming back day by day, just being present, helping in some way, in a tangible way. Now, all of that was just one expression of love, of hands-on love, being present and caring. And there are different ways of experiencing resurrection through psychologists, therapists, counselors, and medication and so on, because often when we're so deep in a hole, we may not be able to crawl out on our own. But there is hope that we do not give up. When we turn east, when we believe, just as this song that we are rehearsing with the choir, Mark Miller wrote a beautiful, beautiful anthem. His sister died early. So what do you experience when a loved one of yours dies? It's hard to put in words. But he describes it in the music that even though I don't feel it, even though I don't experience it, it feels so dry, so absent, there is something that the soul is longing for, where he, and through his music, tries to hold on in faith to what is not there, but he's still longing and hoping for light to shine into that reality. Candace, or Candy Leitner, her dear daughter, Carrie. Carrie was on the way to a church carnival. She was 13 years old, drunk driver. I cannot imagine what Candice Leitner experienced. Candice Leitner made it her mission, even though her daughter died, to do everything she can that no other child, no other teenager may ever die. So she founded MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Wow. Journey for justice in the same way, experiencing heartbreak, loss of parents, loss of their presence and their love, yet they rise and try to help make it better for us. I appreciate so much you, Kim, sharing the other day your experience with your precious mother, Merletta, who has been declining with dementia, Alzheimer's for years. And sometimes right now, Merletta feels like a good friend or a teenage friend to you, Kim. And I cannot imagine what it must feel like to see her slowly decline for years. So I feel your deep, deep love for her, where you go. And love and music, they always remain. So love and music. And you embody that so beautifully. And you feel like this darkness and the missing connection, and something is just leaving. Some describe it as a long death, extended death. But that one day, Kim, as she always does, she hugs mom, gives her a kiss, says, "I love you," turns on the gospel music, the beautiful music. And one day, as Kim was about to leave, her mother made this sign. And she said, "Was that me?" And then she said, "You must love me so much." Like Kim, like her mother, loving her so much. Love in the darkness. Where and how do we experience it? Where and how do we reflect it? And sometimes it's just a glimpse. It's just this wow, in the darkness, in the loss. Somehow, love wins and finds its way in spite of all the darkness. Even now, when we feel like some things are just not right, there is this understanding that matter, everything matter, is somehow congealed or energy that is confined or put together. Like Einstein's E is m times c squared says pretty much matter has lots of energy in it. Now the interesting thing is also that all the matter, all that we can see in the night sky, all the galaxy, that's about 5% of all there is, because there is so much more dark matter and dark energy. In many ways, lots of dark energy, dark matter, isn't it? But there is so much energy in all. What if, just like with matter, we think of energy, what if we translate that to Jesus and saying, don't hold so much onto the Jesus who lived 2,000 years ago, but what if we think and embody and think of this Jesus embodied love, matter, love become real. And every time we talk about Jesus, we talk about love. Like love created the universe and created me. Love never gave up on us. Love healed and touched and comforted. Love was crucified, and love rose again from the dead. Love wins. What if you and I, the only thing we're invited to is to open a little more up to that love? Getting to the end pretty quickly. Do I have 2 more points? Yeah. One is, the chick in the egg, when the chick grows up, it forms inside. And it has a special hard spot on its beak to kind of knock on the egg. And then it zips in the egg and does a 360 to kind of crack it around. And then the beak comes a little bit out, and often the chicken, mama chicken, has to help a little bit. So mama chicken notices from inside there is this pushing and so on. And sometimes from the outside, mama chicken helps just to come out of the egg for the chicken to hatch. What if we are all meant to hatch? And what we experience as confining reality, so constraining, we're meant to let go of some of the, like they say, come out of your shell. What if we're to deconstruct some of the protective layers that we build up just to survive, to make it through life? We all have been wounded, we all have protections, we all have our guards up often. What if we're meant to take out some of these bricks, let some of the layers go in order to absorb and open ourselves to love itself. What if? What if all that Easter is about is the invitation for us to open up to love, to receive it, to participate in it, that it's really about the energy, the spirit that moves in us and all around us. I think when we do that, that's when it truly becomes Easter. Think of Merletta. You must love me so much. Think of the cross, the heart. You are loved eternally. Can you fathom that? Can you open yourself up to that? Are you willing to immerse yourself in it? Live in it, because we're all surrounded with you. You know, sometimes when we have bad reception, we go look for, but usually here, not too bad. So think of love just like the cell waves. They're all around us. You don't see them, but they're present. Thank God, otherwise we couldn't function. Yeah, we talk about that later. The not functioning. But yes, what if all we are invited to do to tune in, turn the inner receptor sensors on, open up and receive and get that portal open where we resonate with love? What if? I think when we do, that's when it becomes truly Easter.